My brothers and sisters, what is going on? Steel Sermon in the house. Late Wednesday night, another video. As always, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Instagram and on Twitter. Links are posted in the box down below. So round two between the Bengals and the Steelers, this time in Pittsburgh. Obviously, last time we met, we beat them in overtime. One of the craziest OTs you'll ever see. And we got the job done, picking Burrow off 4 times, sacking him 7 times. And the only reason that game even went to overtime is because of the guy that I'm going to get into right now in Mike Tomlin. Now, don't think that just because we beat the New Orleans Saints this past Sunday means that Tomlin's off the hook. Okay? All that means is that we just got a little bit better. Not even a lot better. A little bit better. This team is just not set up right. They're either on the brink of a complete catastrophe or completely turning the season around with no in between. And with the play calling, the absolute lack of aggression, the absolute lack of will to fight when you're trailing in a deficit, and just the overall just poor game planning altogether, taking your foot off the gas pedal, being satisfied with a couple of drives and waiting until the fourth quarter to play your best brand of football, that's the reason why we're sitting where we are right now. That's why. Yes, I know. 90's injury hurt us. But I'm telling you, Tomlin, the play calling, and everything else is the main reason we're sitting at 3-6. Plain and simple. Now, with this game, it's that you started off 2-6, all right? You can't get rid of that. You can't unring a bell. But you can make up for it, is what I'm trying to get at here. And you can start doing that Sunday against the Bengals. This is a Bengal team that has not won a single game in the AFC North so far. They're 0-3 in the division. They lost to Baltimore, I think back in week 5 or 6 it was. And then they got absolutely curb stomped by the Browns on Halloween. But ever since that week 1 game, the Bengals have actually played better. They've turned their season around, and that's why they're sitting right now 5-4, trying to catch the Baltimore Ravens in the AFC North, and they're coming off their bye. They're fully rested, they're prepared, and they are just ready to get back in action as far as their pass attack goes with offense. Tomlin has to take the reins, and when I say at some point, I'm talking about like right now. He has to take the reins because there is no leadership on this team outside of 90. Can you name me one guy on this team other than TJ Watt that strikes you as a leader of the team? I don't know about Cam Hayward. I don't know about Minka. I don't know about anyone on the offense. It has to be TJ. Because there is like no leadership on this team right now. None. They have no chemistry. They don't get along. They don't appear to get along with each other. And they don't like call for player meetings in the locker room and talk about, okay, we beat the New Orleans Saints. They're not so much of a great team. Now we got to play our division rival again. Let's, get something going here. And then the real thing that comes in. Mike, no one believes you anymore, man. And I hate that I have to sit down here and talk about you like this coming off a win. But I'm just sick and tired of hearing the same thing from this guy week in and week out. He comes in a press conference and says that he's open to change. No one believes that, Mike. No one does. Because if you were open to change, you would have told the staff, Matt Canada's play calling is not working, and this guy cannot be the OC anymore. You have made no changes with the offense. You have made very few changes with the defense. And you continue to not have Jaylen Warren be your RB1 when he has proven consistently this year that he is the far better option than Najee Harris. You're not using Derek Watt on short yards plays outside of a couple of plays against the Saints last week. We have yet to see Mark Robinson. The last time that I can vividly remember calling Mark Robinson's name in any one of my Steeler videos was before the season started. We have yet to see him on the field. So when are these changes going to occur? Because you're running out of time now. You can't say it's early in the season anymore, Mike. We're halfway through the year. There's no more, it's early. There's no more, there's still time to turn around. No, you're running out of time now here, man. I know the schedule's pretty favorable, but this is one of the tougher games that you have left. So, if you are indeed serious about making changes, I better see some this Sunday. And I ain't just talking about wearing the Color Rush uniforms, which, yes, we have historically good luck playing in those uniforms, but it has to be more than that. Overall schemes, overall setups, using, filling in players that are absent from the team or players that we have lost, using them to the best of their abilities. We have yet to see that. And we're halfway through the year. Get it together, for real. But getting on to this game, Steelers and Bengals. Tomlin did come out and say that really the only thing that is detrimental to us, Dotson's dealing with a little bit of a hip problem. Najee has had some lower body problems, but it's not too serious, as he said. Akella Witherspoon is being looked at, which I think at this point is probably for the best, but because Akella Witherspoon is just getting manhandled in coverage. I mean, how are you a man-to-man guy and you get manhandled in man coverage? Makes absolutely no sense. Now we know why you were back up over in San Francisco. As far as Minkah Fitzpatrick goes, Minkah has been set, it has been reported that Minkah has a chance to play Sunday and that he has been practicing a little bit, but I wouldn't risk it for this week. You cannot put your players on the field, Mike Tomlin. Getting back to Mike Tomlin again. You cannot put your players on the field that are not 100% good to go just because it gives us a good chance of winning. We also happened with Tua Tagovailoa earlier in the year. We saw what happened with Big Ben in his career where he tried to rush injuries. If Minkah ain't 100% good to go, don't put him on the field and hurt him even more. Because that won't be the first time Tomlin did that, and it certainly won't be the last time he'll do that either. Everything about this team right now is disorganized. Everything about this team is just, running rampant right now. And I don't know why it continues to be the case. I really don't. You're telling me that when you have an offensive coordinator like Matt Canada, who should have been gone after the Philly game, to be honest with you, but we're just going to let him be here for at least the end of this year, and we're not even going to try to interview Frank Reich to be OC when he's on the frickin' market. He got let go by the Colts, and you're not even going to bring him in here to interview him. But you have an OC like Matt Canada sitting up there with his bald, shiny head and his wannabe goatee. I mean, I have a goatee too, but my goatee is way better than his. And you mean to tell me that this guy just has these receivers running in a straight line the whole time? How about Matt Canada puts Steve Sims in the slot We don't have Chase Claypool anymore. Chase Claypool was in the slot a lot often, creating double teams. Why can't experiment with Steve Sims a little bit? Put him in the slot a little bit. Incorporate some wheel routes. Experiment with George Pickens. There's barely any tape on him, and he's a freaking rookie. What's the holdup with it? Have him take his chances with a go route. Have him take his chances on a wheel route. Have him take his chances with a slant. Enough with the stupid dinking and dunking 2-yard out patterns. It's getting nowhere. Enough with the reverse end sweeps. It's getting nowhere. You're not going to beat this Bengal team that way. You may get lucky with defense, but you're not going to do that with offense. Utilize what you have. This Bengals team has a great pass attack, and all starts with Joe Burrow. There have been times where Joe Burrow's been inconsistent this year, like in the first matchup back in week 1. But he's gotten his act together. He's only thrown 2 picks since then? I know you're not going to go up against... I know you're not... you don't have to worry about Jamar Chase in this game because he's still hurt. But, like I said, experiment with your guys. Don't rush injuries. They still have T. Higgins. They still have Tyler Boyd. They still got Hayden Hurst, who averages 4 catches a game. And they still got Joe Mixon in the backfield, by the way, who not too long ago had 5 rushing touchdowns against the Carolina Panthers. I know the Panthers suck, and I know that they're on a fire sale, but 5 touchdowns by a running back, that's unheard of nowadays. And you cannot allow this Bengal defense to dominate. They're a pressure group. Like they did against us last year. I know last year is irrelevant, but you cannot allow them to dominate with the pressure group they have. Mike Hilton will do that to you. All their linebackers will do that to you. They're all out with Jesse Bates and Von Bell. Wilson, in all situations, will do that to you. They are a flat-out coverage team. And if they can get off the field because our offense is faltering, which it probably will in this game, then they're going to have nothing to worry about with offense. Because Joe Burrow, he spreads all his eligibles around. He could use Jamar Chase for this game, but like I said, he still has a lot at his disposal to work with. This is not going to be as easy of a game as you think. Just because we're wearing the Color Rush uniforms. Just because it's somewhat of a primetime game. It's not going to be easy. This Bengal team is a lot different than in week 1. They really are. And if you think that they are going to allow this team to sweep us, or to sweep them, you got another thing coming, guys. So anyway, my keys to victory for this game, if we are to walk out of Pittsburgh with a W and get the brooms out and complete the sweep of the Bengals, you got to minimize Joe Burrow. That's where it all starts with. You got to minimize Joe Burrow. Make him focus on his eligible. Make him not focus too much on his eligibles. Make him make poor decisions. Because if you do that, you're not careful with it, guess what? Joe Mixon's going to beat you. And it's happened before. That's the kind of guy that Joe Burrow is. Spreading the wealth around. Taking deep shots down the field. Kenny Pickett don't have that right now. And there's no excuse for him to not have it. I mean, he's got a great threat with George Pickens to do that. He's got his security blanket and Pat Freiermuth right now. So what are you waiting for? Take some shots down the field, man. For real. He connected with Deontay Johnson on a beautiful connection on Sunday against the Saints. Take some shots down the field. Mimic what the Bengals do and minimize Joe Burrow. And beat him the way that he beats other opponents by spreading the ball around. You have more than enough at your disposal to do that. I know people like to point fingers at the O-line not being good and the O-line not having good run blocking and the O-line doing this and the O-line doing that. But, you got to know the O-line has given the quarterback a lot of ample time to throw the ball this year. I know that Kenny Pickett got roughed up a little bit against the Saints. I know that he got sacked about, 6 or 7 times against Philly. But overall, this pass blocking has done a lot better than what I thought it'd do. In short, you got to mimic the Cincinnati Bengals. Do we have the team that can mimic them to a T? Absolutely not. But in order for the Pittsburgh Steelers to get this W and to get the brooms out and complete the sweep of the Bengals, they have to be able to do that. At the bare minimum, get a run game going. Utilize what you have in George Pickens. Utilize what you have in Deontay Johnson. Make your top 3 match that with Pickens and Johnson and Pat. Mimic it. And make Najee Harris at the same time can't be going on Dancing with the Stars in the backfield there, back there like we all know that he likes to do. He's coming off a real good game against New Orleans Saints. Build off of it. This is one of your toughest games of the year. And this game right here, you win this game, your season is all but turned around. Because there's no excuse to lose to Jeff Saturday and the Colts next week. But I'm going to worry about the Colts when it's time to worry about the Colts. It's time to focus on the Cincinnati Bengals. It's time to focus on getting the brooms out and putting them at 0-4 in the division. And getting one of those division wins back. Getting out of the basement. Why is that? Cleveland Browns are in Buffalo. And you can, right now, forget about trying to catch the Ravens. Because they have a cupcake schedule the rest of the way. Forget about that. Focus on leapfrogging the Browns. Focus on being better than the Bengals. And then you can worry about positioning. Plain simple. Get the job done, guys. I know I had to be tough in this video, but when I heard that, we're open to change, that really rubbed me the wrong way. Because I don't believe Tomlin when he says that, and neither should the rest of the fan base believe him when he says that. Because we all know he's not going to change. Plain simple. Anyway, Steelers and Bengals in Pittsburgh. Game 2. Let's get the job done, guys. We need it more than ever. Like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Instagram and on Twitter. Links are posted in the box down below. This is Steel Sermon checking on out for the night. May God be with you all.